So I come to know that you are from interdisciplinary subjects, especially language persons are here, and some history, philosophy. I don't know that how many of you are habituated or actually require any kind of collecting information, qualitative information from direct beneficiary or in project mode. I think in this methodology for social research, there will be many speakers who will discuss about this questionnaire method, survey, interview method, but I will not discuss all these things because I believe that yes, there is no, in that sense, alternative of collecting information from person directly, face to face. Am I clear?
Yes.
Face to face and collecting information through interview method needs some orientation. Maybe those who are from languages, those who are from philosophy and even history need not to pay heed on this particular kind of collecting information. But as it is my subject, so I have to talk on this, go on talking on this, and you have to bear with me. If you need not to do this, still you have to bear with me because it's my subject. Otherwise, the total course content will be deprived. So this is collecting qualitative information, a non-dignified approach. I'm working on non-dignified approach. So you all know that the collection of information through interview method, through sample method, and other things, survey method, become a phenomena for a long time. Everybody used to use this tool, that I have to collect information, so I have to go to some person and I take some written questionnaire, or you call it schedule, and we ask them one after another, starting from what's your name to everything. Now it is dignified, obviously, because you are asking name, his father's name, his marital status, children, and ultimately pay scale, and then how many jewelry he has or his wife own, and the private diseases. These are all dignified. So if you ask some questions to a person through this method, then we call it dignified, because these are all followed by many social scientists and for a long time. So we know that this data collection method has two components. One is primary data collection and another is secondary data collection. Who are from theoretical background or doing research on theoretical kind of thing, they need more on secondary information than primary information. But we, those who are from rural development side, sociology, economics, geography, a bit from history, we need some information which are primary kind of thing, directly from the participant. So it involves data collection directly from the subjects by the researcher or trained data collector. And data collected are specifically for the purpose of research, surveys, interview, observations. These are the tools, methods. And for secondary data collection, it involves, please listen me, I will give all these things to you, no problem. Don't take notes. And if you think that there are some questions, please write rightly and put me after discussion is over. So for secondary information, we use generally published data. We collect data from newspaper, we collect data from NSSO, we collect data from income tax department, we collect data from archives, we collect data from museum. These are all published data. These are called secondary information. I will mostly talk on primary information. And for primary information, we need questionnaires and interviews. Questionnaires are the documents that ask the same questions of all individuals. If you have one questionnaire, you just copy it, Xerox it for 50 copies, 100 copies, how many samples you have, or maybe household entirely. Then you just ask the question repeatedly to same question to same household, one after another. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? In each household, then how many land you have, for every household. It's stereotyping kind of thing. Then interview consists of oral questions by the interviewer and oral response by the research participants. And then you have to take note. And there lies the question. Those who are giving answers and you are writing, now what type of answer they are giving and exactly what you are writing, there will be some suspicion at the end of respondent, because most of social sciences cases, the respondents are semi-literate, illiterate even, and they really suspicious about your writings, because you have asked the question that what's the production, and if he gives the answer, then you are writing this 40 quintal. But that's quantitative. But when a qualitative judgment is going on, you are asking some open-ended question that how do you feel about the recent politics? Then what he is answering may not you are writing the same. You are writing, maybe you are writing according to your choice. Now, survey use questionnaires or interviews to collect data from participants in a sample about their characteristics, experiences, etc. So this is a method. You have to go to each individual, take face-to-face interview, and This is your process. This is one face-to-face. There are types of interviews. This first one is personal interview. We all know that personal interview means, in fact, face-to-face interview. Then telephonic interview, it added with email and WhatsApp, Facebook even. You can take information from anybody. Messenger. Then this focus group discussion. We need a group to discuss something that may be deterministic, that may not be deterministic, structured, unstructured, and we can take a group view. Those who are buzz group, those who are focused on that particular matter, they are gathered, and you can take information from them. Depth interview is something you are discussing at a length. On that particular topic, you are discussing in depth and projective techniques. This is personal interview, is a face-to-face, two-way communication between the interviewer and the respondents. It's two-way communication. Generally, the personal interview is carried out in a planned manner, that means in structured form, and is referred to as structured interview. This can be done in many forms: door-to-door survey for taking a particular information, or as a planned formal executive meeting. Telephonic interview, the respondent by asking him questions on the phone. The combination of telephone and computer, that means other gadgets, has made this method even more popular. Focus group interview is an unstructured interview, but it is not true in all sense. It may be structured, which involves a moderator leading a discussion between a small group of respondents on a specific topic. So you cannot take a huge group. It consists of mostly 10 to 15 people, and who are expert on that particular topic. So you are taking the response from those buzz group. So in-depth interview has some advantages. Usually it gives rich data, permit face-to-face contact with respondents, so you can see the change of his behavior, mood even, provide opportunity to explore topics in depth, affordability to experience the affective as well as cognitive aspects of responses, allow interviewer to explain or help clarify questions, increasing the likelihood of useful responses, allow interviewer to be flexible in administering interview to particular individuals or circumstances. You can get out of that in-depth interview if it is not going according to your choice. So there are some advantages of structured interview. One is can reach a large sample. Recently, through this center, I am doing two projects. One is the Nirmal Bangla in Malda district, and another is displacement of households at Loba. You know, the government of West Bengal could find out one second largest coal mines. So those who are residing on top of the coal mines, they should be displaced. so they need compensation. And what is their socioeconomic status? How many of them have how much of land? These are all we are doing surveys for that. So the sample is mostly 2,500 households, and we did 1,04,000 household survey at Malda for getting information that those were toilets or not. So it's huge kind of thing, but single one-page questionnaire. So it needs huge collaboration from administration and other parts so that we can reach to large sample. A representative sample is possible and results can be used in make statements, because for that reason, for Malda district we can give one statement that 70% households have toilets. This is a general statement for Malda district. So you can make general statement on different topics if you have a large sample. You cannot take 12 samples like we do in pre-poll survey. The voters are 8 crores and you are taking samples on 8,000 and you are giving some results that this party will get this much of seats like this. So large sample means generalization of statement is, I think will be fine-tuned. Questions are structured and asked in the same way so that respondents' answer can be more easily. Can do face-to-face intensive interview where electronic recording is not possible. Can ensure questions are fully understood. So these are the advantages. Now, don't perceive that I'm against this. This is the best method and should be used by all researchers and should use for generalization of statement. But the cost for 1 lakh households, I have to take a printout or Xerox 1 lakh copies of that schedule. If you have 100 households with 10 pages schedule or questionnaire, then 10 into 100, you have to incur the cost. And the proximity of your source, that means collection of information that you have to go by bus, maybe by train, maybe by car, maybe by auto, maybe by toto, so it needs cost. Lack of anonymity. I have started with that question, that when I am giving some response to my private questions, is it that the matter should be confidential and you should not disclose the answer to anybody? As a researcher, you cannot do this, because if it is your topic and you are researching on that particular area, say on AIDS, so those who are giving you the information that I have AIDS and you are disclosing the information, so what will be the stake of that fellow? He will be ousted from the society, he will be ousted from the village, and even today hospitals can deny. So what's the guarantee that you are giving to the respondent that no, I will take care of you? So these are the anonymity. Now the questions on females, the questions on your monetary status, the questions on your borrowings, questions on your loans. These are all private questions. But in a schedule, in a questionnaire, you can find randomly these questions. Even that you are asking a civilized, dignified question to one poor that, do you have 4 square meals? Do you have enough food to serve? So these are all dignified questions. Because you are asking through a schedule. And anybody can answer that. Who the hell you are to ask me that whether I am taking food or not? Whether I can afford food or not? So this is lack of anonymity is there in schedule and questionnaire, and necessity for callbacks. When somebody is not in his house, then you have to go back again without replacement. If the sample is without replacement, then you have to take the information. Without 2,500 households at Loba surrounding areas, we have to take each and everybody's information, because government will give compensation for this land. They will provide one house, and if a person has 2 offsprings, one is daughter and one is son, and if they are 18 years old, more than 18 years old, the government has to provide extra room for that. So the information is very, very critical. If you find that somebody is 17 years, he will not get an extra room. But somebody is 19 years, he or she will get an extra room. So the information is very, very critical, and you cannot pass on to just you don't find anybody in his room, for a particular room, and then you go on to next one. But you have to take the information of that people, even if he is out of station and coming back after 15 days. Then you have to go again and you have to take information for that particular person, because compensation is to go to that person also. So this is necessary for schedule and questionnaire. The interview results are often adversely affected by interviewers' mode of asking questions and interactions. Now there is calls about bias. You are asking a question, say, don't you think that nowadays agriculture is not profitable? So what will a farmer give? No, it's very much profitable. No. Your question takes the answer even before the respondent response. You are getting the answer. No, agriculture is not profitable right now. Because you are asking that question like this. Now you are asking the question to a farmer that you are getting trouble, no, for doing this agriculture. So who here the farmer is not giving answer? No, I don't have any trouble. Everybody will say yes, there are troubles. The cost of prices, the cost of fertilizer is going up. The cost of human labor is going up. The cost of seeds are going up. So everybody is in trouble. So you are asking the question in a manner which suits your research. You are taking the answer, actually you are giving the answers. By asking the question, it's show off, nothing else. Certain types of personal and financial information may be refused to face-to-face interview. What should I say? What should I tell you? Why should I tell you that how much land we have? I don't know you are from tax department. I don't know you are from BLRO, land department. Why should I give you this information? And if I give, I will be very cautious, and I will give answer that if I have 15 acres, then I will sell 5 acres. So the reliability of data, the reliability of information will go in vain. Interview poses the problem of recording information obtained from the respondents. I've already discussed it, that what kind of recording you are doing. You can use hand recorder, you can use pen pencil to take the notes, and everything will be suspicious to the respondent. Lack of training for the person who conduct interview. I don't know how many of you before starting survey or this kind of process get trained from any institute, or nowadays we know that coursework is there for doing research. You have to pass the coursework, and in that coursework method, in this kind of research methodology workshop, we are trying to give some kind of training to how to get information, how to collect information, how to interview somebody, etc. An interview is costly both in terms of money and time. So what I have already discussed, that personal bias, interviewers are biased, their likes and dislikes can affect their judgment. Halo effect. Single characteristic of candidate affects the judgment of interviewer. Not only that, the interview of previous candidate influenced the interview. He said that in this village there is a huge drinking water problem, and you are not saying this. You are saying this drinking water problem is not a problem in this village. So you carrying some effect of previous respondents. A leniency, it implies the tendency to assign high scores associated with lack of confidence and interest in dating. Now, what's the difference between I agree, I moderately agree, and I strongly agree? Do you agree that this government is not doing well? I agree, I moderately agree, and I strongly agree. If he says, then you put your T on strongly agree. How do you know that you strongly agree? Because in your thesis, you want to show that this government is not doing well, like newspaper cutting. So your bias is always there behind you, and it's acting always. Now this is a poem from Robert Chambers, that nutritionists take care to plan to do their surveys when they can be sure that the weather is fine and dry. The harvest in food intake high. The students seeking PhDs believe that everyone agrees that rains don't do for rural study, suits get wet and shoes get muddy. And bureaucrats, that urban type naturally, wait prudently crops are ripe before they venture to the field to put their question, what's the yield? So this is our tendency to do a critical research. Take the village which is roadside. So you don't be worried about transportation. You don't want to go interior part of a state so that you will be in trouble. You should not try to venture in the village in rainy season because the roads are not good in the village. So your dresses will be some kind of getting muds and other things. And so winter is, I think winter and spring is the good season for survey. And you are putting the question after harvest that what's the production. Now in World Bank in 1985 started one survey on world-wise poverty. So a group of people, obviously so-called social researcher, gone to Latvia and asked a woman who were outside her house that, what do you think that are you poor? So she said that, you're asking me, come to my house, see the holes on the walls, see the utensils I'm using, see the clothes I'm wearing, and see the type of foods I'm taking every day. Then you can understand what poverty is. It's not a mere definition to give who is poor or not. So in this kind of survey, if you don't go to the actual time of stress, actual time of the situation on which you are researching, then you don't get even good answers from, or the information will be lapsed. But we cannot do this because we are doing our research as tourism. So any alternative is there. Why? Because we are doing research on social sciences with whom? Those who are participatory life in society. Those who are in the society, we are alienating them from the society and taking some questions to her or him and getting answers. But just put him or her in the society and take the answer, then the answer will be totally different. The situation will permit him or her to disclose more than face-to-face interview, than single interview. We are not asking the action experience. That's the Latvia woman gave. That's the action experience. She was churned, she was attacked by that silly question that what is poverty? And they are not applying when you are taking face-to-face interview, mind and knowledge. Because maybe he has some hurry that I have to go to that place and I have to go to Panchayat office and SD office and this time you have come, okay, let's give 5 minutes. So he is not ready for that because you are not taking permission that whether I can come to you for one interview at this time. It's your time. Your time is precious. the community's time is not precious because they are unpaired, illiterate. When I will go, he is bound to give answer because it's my time, it's not his or her time. So we generally wish to take some other's view on that particular subject. Why? Can anybody tell me that? How many squares are there here? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 16. I don't know. Because perception differs. You are not giving the same answer. You are not giving 9. You 9, you 9, you 9, you 9, you 9. No. You are giving 9, 12, 16. So the answer will be different. Obviously. For one, the answer is this. For others, the answer will not be this. So perception differs. So we need to diversify our questions and take answers from a diversified forum. So we need triangulation. This is a triangulation where we are asking men and women, and we are taking the help of insider and we are outsider. We are going to the village. So as an outsider, I am asking question to men and women, and as you are, we are from different disciplines. So triangulation is needed. Triangulation is needed for various sources of information. If place is changed, then the answer will be changed. If the people is changed, the answer will be changed. You can try also. Which is relevant to West Bengal is not relevant to Karnataka. May not be. Which is relevant to my AKD center is not relevant to social work department. So people change. Place changing. Event and processes also changing. So triangulation is needed. Triangulation is needed for techniques and tools. We are till this time discussing on interview, discussions. Why not observation? Why not diagrams? Now you know that those who are to some extent elder, we use DOS, disk operating system, before Windows. What was that? That's a command-based approach. Control KS means it's saved. Control KX means it's cut. Control KV means it's paste. Now you don't need to recollect all these things. You just go to one diagram where Caesar is there, so cut. One diagram that thumb is there, so paste. Just stretch your mouse and it will be blocked. Why? Because these are all visual notes. Visuality give you more perfections than your memory control. So from command mode to diagram mode, we have already shifted our machines to this. Before that, an overhead projector was there. We have to submit each and every slides. Before that, nothing was there, chalk and dust. Now it's LCD projector. Now already it has come that you don't need any keyboard. It has come that This focus will come, and anywhere you can set one keyboard, just you can type. So every day the visual mode is operating so that illiterate, semi-literate, no educated person can use even computer or use even something. Need not to remember Control KS, Control KX, Control KV, Control KC. No, because everything is there. So one child can also operate one mobile. One child can also operate your laptop, because everything is visual. So why not your questionnaire should be visual? Give them at least one chance to show that these are my questions and you have to answer. And yes, you participate in my research also, because you are one respondent and I am taking your data, and we know that when we are stealing something without getting consent of anybody, it's called stealing, thief. We are thief. So if you take this mouse without the consent of, say, Prof and Dayashankar, so you are stealing this mouse. So you are taking the information without taking the consent of somebody. It's stealing of information. So show them that no, I am not stealing your information. You are giving the information and you are participating in this. Just simple calculation one, the time and cost calculation. This is one page UNICEF health survey, first page only. I am using this first page. Now here name, department, survey date, etc., interview, work location, background information and symptoms. If I ask each of you, coming one by one to my room, like one interview, that do you have headache, nausea, dizziness, tiredness? So at least for this schedule, I have to spend 5 minutes. Isn't it? 5 minutes to लगेगा ना इसमें? And for 100 households, I have to Xerox it for 100 copies. So it will cost 100. For 5 minutes per household, for 100 household, 500 minutes means 8.33 hours, roughly 1 day of work. So for 1 page of schedule, 1 page of questionnaire, you have to give a whole day of 8 hours to collect information that those who have headache or dizziness or tiredness or any pain in elbow or any pain in shoulder or any problem in hair, any problem in eyes, like this. Now if it is like that, and ask you that please come forward, and if you have any, you cannot see, I think. My goodness. So congested. So then ask you that take this pen and put where you are feeling trouble in your health, and you are giving some answers. That may be children, maybe male, maybe female, maybe others. So it takes, for your 40 groups, it will take 10 to 15 minutes. And I can understand that how many problems you have as a community. What are the health problems prevailing in that particular village for male children up to 14 years. It's 10 minutes time. So if, and one chart paper is sufficient. So one chart paper costs ₹4. And 30 minutes say for 100 households, game is over. So for 8 hours and costing ₹100, you are getting the same information for ₹4 and with 30 minutes, half an hour. If you can organize the particular respondents on which you are researching. So what is that? That is called Participatory Rural Practice, PRA. It is rural for, as we are working on rural, but it may be for urban, for slums also. So it is not necessary that R is very typical, but P is very typical. P is participative. Who draws this diagram? The boy of class 8. He draws the diagram. Who gave vote? Prof. The participants gave. I am just a person just observing this thing and just facilitating by giving the pen. Nothing else. I am not asking questions. I am not asking that this and that and this and that is entire question. I am just giving one option that in which part of your body you are facing or getting trouble. Just please mark, put a mark here, and so that I can understand. Now from this picture, don't count anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 100 people is there or not? No. This shows the volume only. If the volume is here a big, then you can generalize that the village is getting mostly waterborne diseases. So water is a problem for that village. And you can suggest measures if you are doing action research or you are from an NGO, that you can suggest actions on this. So it is not only the picture, it is not only the diagram that gives you some apparent results. It's fun. Everybody will like this. Everybody, the villagers will understand what is going on. Everybody is spontaneous. That okay, my vote is here, my vote is here. Okay, put. Yeah. Why not? Please come. Give one chocolate and take the vote. So it's open and acknowledge them. Oh, what's your name? Akash. Oh, Akash. What's your name? Gaudi. So we can acknowledge them also. They will be very happy by seeing their name. Obviously, it should be in regional languages. It should not be in English, or it should not be in any language that is not understood by the people, by the respondents. It should be in this picture. You can see this is in Bengali. শিশুদের দৈহিক অবস্থা মহিলা, এটা baby girl children there. As you can see this picture, and this also. So they have severe eye problem because they are all using pond water for bathing and pond water for drinking. So you can easily identify the problem also. Now, he is the man who started the school of thought. Is Robert Chambers. Most important book of Robert Chambers is Rural Development, putting the last first. The last person should be vocal. We should diversify, that our respondent should not be such a person who can give answers to every question, who are not speaking. Half-spoken part of our country, those who are under veil, they should come forward to give answers. He is still living in Sussex University. So this is the definition of participatory rural appraisal, that it's an approach. It's an approach for shared learning between local people and outsiders to enable development practitioners, government officials, and local people to plan together appropriate interventions. So it teaches us from command and control to decentralization, from closed mindset to open mindsets, from lecturing to listening and learning. This is listening and learning. From theoretical to practical and field-based. From narrow approach to holistic approach, that not only taking the information by taking that name and father's name and marital status, also give some action, give some suggestions on their problems. From people as object to people as participant. Don't feel that the respondent is my object. Give him or give her at least that respect, that no, you are a part of my research. Without you, I am unfulfilled. So why we start this peer? This is a Johari's window, most of you know. That this is we know, we don't know, they know and they don't know matrix. Where we know and they know, it's kind of very clear that we know and they also know. And where we know and they don't know, we don't bother. Because we know everything. We know that now a possibility is there to find out some kind of living organism in Mars. And we know that Yuri Gagarin traded in moon in the year of 1968 or something. They don't know. And they don't bother also that what's in Mars or what is in moon. We start here where we don't know and they know. Because the information they are giving, you don't know, and for that you have come to that people. Otherwise, you don't need to go to him or her. To collect information, you are going. So, you are begging, you are taking his or her help. Because you don't know. You don't know that when the ball will swing, after how many overs, Saurav Ganguly knows. And that's why he is specialized. And you don't know when the paddy will be sown in the field. The farmer knows. Because he will say, bath has come, moisture has come, moisture content is optimum. So, now the possibility of sowing seed is there. You don't know. You have to ask, what's the time? June 15 to June 30. You know, just like this. You don't know which one is rice varieties of different paddies. You don't know. He will say this is Shorno, this is IR36. You are just eating that. So you don't know and they know is the starting point of PRA. We are taking information from them. We are not giving information from us. We are not lecturing. We are just want to listen and share. This is don't know, no matrix. So this entire PRA system has three pillars. One is methods, another is sharing, and another is attitude and behavior. If you have perfect attitude and behavior to collect information, that is called training, then you can get real information. Otherwise, you are hurry, he is also in hurry, and the information will be like this. This is just one method. I'm showing you, time is over. This is just one method. You can take thousands of variables here. The entire 16 pages questionnaire is shuttled in one chart. These are the households, and then you ask. You just give them an opportunity to draw their own village. This is their village. It's obviously on roadside. We have studied this in Hazra in UP, Uttar Pradesh. So this is kind of slums. These are the households they drew, and they gave the legends, which one this and that and etc. Now you ask one question. First question is, how many households have lands? They will mark. Then you ask that how many households having children who are not going to school? They are giving some legends. Then you ask that those who are not going to school, how many of them are female children? They will put marks. Then you ask another, then you ask another, then you ask another, because it's ultimately your primary unit is household. So instead of going to his or her house, you are getting the information in a place, in a common place. So you need not to visit 100 households one by one. You need not to go to 100 with 100 questionnaires, 100 copies of questionnaires. You just need one chart paper, some colors, and a gallery of people who will participate in this. This is a fun, and this is undignified, non-dignified study. But gives you 100% accuracy in comparison to household survey, in comparison to face-to-face interview. 100% accuracy. I have studied almost all states in India through this method, and I got information which is never denied by any officials. Accurate result you can get. How many school children are drops out? We had one study. We have studied in entire Murshidabad, this north districts of West Bengal, on bidi children. Those who are making bidi, those who are using tobacco. They are using their fingertips with this in Shuti, in Raghunathpur, everywhere you can see. And clandestine tuberculosis is rampant there. Nobody is going to hospital because that's a private disease. Nobody exposed, no children exposed his disease that while coughing I'm bleeding. Unexposed. In this method, you get information because children will give the information. While you cough, you bleed. Those who will bleed, put your marks here like this. I don't know Ramsham Jodu Modu who is affected, but I can assure you that out of 100 children, 70 is affected here. So it's not named because ultimately you are not considering the names of the households. You are just averaging this thing. So you get the average data. Why we are asking names? We are asking fathers' names. We want the information. So information is this. The voluminous children have tuberculosis because of that. Because they touch their tongue while binding the needle. This is needed, in fact. So, when you are asking some private questions, you cannot get answer directly. But through all these methods, nothing is denied. So this is a method. Get innumerable of variables, and instead of structured questionnaire schedule, you can get anything. If you have any question, I cannot go in details about this methodology. Those who are interested can ask me on time. But this is a method which is alternative to questionnaire survey, and that can be used essentially for social science research. Thank you. Any question? Yes.
So, in case of any kind of perception study or opinion survey, where we have something like Likert scale,
Yeah.
Many people challenges those rankings.
Yeah.
So is there any appropriate way like this in order to overcome that problem while we are studying in perception?
Yeah. So you need some flip cards. Say you are asking the village problems. Okay. My goodness, this is permanent. It will take time. No?
Yes.
Now, this is, you know that this chest cut while you run and racing for 730, 990. So these are all chest cuts. We call it flip cuts. So these are chase cards. Now you just cut it like this and give it to everyone. Give it to everyone. Then you ask them, according to your opinion, you write problems of this village, accurate problem, which you feel that the problem is accurate. So, again, this permanent. You don't know which to get. So, now randomly just arrange all these cards. Say there are 10 persons, so 10 cards are randomly arranged. And here problems are identified like this. Here problems are there. Now take some dal, moong dal, masoor dal, etc. and give it to the people. And tell them that you discuss and you put the dals according to the criticalness of the problems of the village. Ranking is done. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, 6. You just take the flip cards, putting the marks, and you will get the problems of the villages. Just they are participating because they know their problems very much. You don't know, so they know that. But they can quarrel, they can fight for that. No, this is not the problem, this is the problem. Let them fight. Let them quarrel. Let them decide. You take time. You just sit on and you just facilitate. তাহলে দিদি এটাই ঠিক তো? No, 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 not this, no, no. So বলুন. Diversify, diverge. Ask everybody. Ask the backsider, backbencher. Please, আরে আপনি কিছু বলছেন না কেন? Tell, please. What's the problem? This is triangulation. So you need everybody's view. Nobody should be devoid of. So everybody's view. After discussion, everything, they unitedly decide that yes, this is the problem number 1. So you can get the problem number 1 and go to your UNICEF agency and give them the suggestion that this is the problem of the village, do something. So action is required when this study is done. And that's why it is called mostly the kind of projectile information needed for development any project by any organization, and that's why it is called NGO kind of methodology. But those who are not going to be assistant professor, associate professor, school teacher and statistician and others, you go any NGO, you go Save the Children, you go UNICEF, you go UNESCO, you go World Bank, everywhere the first question is, do you know PRA? That is the question they will ask. And if you know the methodology, then ultimately, because they are working on this methodology, they are not bothered about 1,000 samples. They will bother about concentrated village profile. So if you want to give the concentrated village and time bound, right now it is 12:45. By 3 I need to know what's the problem of the village. So you have to, without any option, going house to house and taking that 8 hours You are not getting that time. You have just 2 hours in your hand. You have to give the entire village problem to the body. So that is my method, nothing else. So this, okay. Anybody here? No. Yeah.
What's the difference between structured interview and survey in its utility?
Structured interview
And survey.
and
Survey.
survey. Oh, structured interview and survey. Survey is a method. Structured interview is a tool. In survey method, you can use structured interview, you can use unstructured interview, you can use semi-structured interview. Say in structured interview, what I have already shown, that you could not see that health page. So that is structure. You have to ask the questions one by one and you have to take the answer. You are doing survey. You are doing survey with that structured interview. Now you are totally in your mind that I have to ask this and that questions, and it's very specific kind of thing I just want. So this is unstructured. It's in your brain. You are asking that, okay, I have come to your village. Then what are the problems in your village? So this is open-ended. You cannot ask yes, no, not. But in structured interview, mostly the questions are in close-ended.
So questionnaire is a tool.
Yeah, questions are 2 types. One is close-ended questions, another is open-ended questions. Close-ended questions is you are binding him within some framework. Say, do you agree? If yes, moderately agree, just agree, moderately agree, strongly agree, not agree. So you are binding. Out of this they cannot go. But in unstructured, it is open-ended. What do you feel? He is talking and talking and talking, giving responses at length. And you are just note down all the salient features he or she is telling. That's important points you are, or recording that thing. This is unstructured. And semi-structured is some portion is structured, name, father's name, marital status, how many acres of land, education status, etc. And then you ask as your thesis objective questions.
So as a method, interview and survey is not much different.
No, there is no comparison between interview and survey. Within survey, you have some tools of this questionnaire, structured or unstructured. These are all tools you are using with this machinery. This is entirely survey. This is also survey. But the tool is different. Tool is peering. In survey, the tool is questionnaire method. In survey, the tool is telephonic questionnaire. You are not going to his or her house and you are getting answer from on telephone.
Is any standardization is needed for the PR?
No. That's why I already said statisticians should not use this. Because you cannot do standard deviation, you cannot do test, you cannot do chi-square. But the data is accurate in that sense that if you say, ask that, if 1 rupee your income, then where you spend it? For education, for agriculture, for food. Yes, 100% accurate. 100%. But you cannot standardize this thing. And it depends on the locality, it depends on the community. If in a village, 2 communities are there, Muslim and Hindu, say for Hindu, the entire pattern will be changed. So it's very localized, regional kind of thing. You cannot generalize this thing. And it may not be successful at each and every time. You have to come back, roll back, pack up, without getting any information.
See,
These are a bit riskier.
It would be acceptable for traditional research. by conducting a research in
No, that's why I told you na, that traditional researchers are dignified. This is non-dignified. This is for NGOs.
What is of PhD degree or something degree?
Yes, I have already produced rather 12 students, PhD students. 4 out of them entirely done this PRA method. Nobody challenged.
Sir, so we all know that there are some disadvantages in preparing interview schedule.
Yeah.
So what are the disadvantages that at one point of time all the respondents cannot be found?
Yeah.
So simultaneously, if we take a preparation that we have by calling to all the respondents, we will collect all those data. So what's the reliability that in one hand you are preparing an interview schedule, in another hand you are simply calling a person and asking for the data information.
Yeah,
So
you can
this kind of data or information can
simultaneously you can check with this. That means the most serious disadvantage of interview method in face-to-face interview method is giving a false information. You cannot judge. You cannot take. You have to take his response as good as his version. Otherwise, you cannot check it. If he says, if you ask me right now, if you ask me that, what's your salary? So I am giving 5 lakhs. Can you judge me? So it's a lie. I'm not getting 5 lakhs. So it's a lie. You cannot judge. This is the most vigorous disadvantage of face-to-face. But in a group, when I am telling that if you associate my colleagues, all professors here, Prof, etc., then if you ask me what's your salary, if I say 5 lakhs, Prof will come and slap me. 5 lakhs. আমি এত বয়স হয়ে গেল এখনো 5 lakhs পাচ্ছি না তুমি 5 lakhs পাইলে what's you cannot. So in a group generally somebody cannot tell lie. That's the advantage of PI, because he or she is in a group. If he says that I have 5 acres of land, then he just neighbor he will have 5 acres. Are कब हुआ? आपका तो 7 acres. You are suppressing the data, na? So it's like kankara, na? It's pulling down you. So it's the disadvantage of getting information accurate.
On the best quality questionnaire.
Best quality?
Questionnaires.
Best quality questionnaire will be when you are properly trained to ask that question, and the second is it is pre-tested. Many of us do not pre-test the question. Pilot study, which is called. Now you prepare one question for 100 households. You go first, take the sample of 10 or 15, ask them, come back, analyze the entire data up to your end point where you will find your research findings. Then you will find that where are the lapses. Most of us do not do this. We prepare questionnaire, ask our supervisor that, sir, is it okay? Okay, chalo. And after coming back, when you are not finding the actual finding, then you are manipulating. Please.
Sir, actually, I would like to ask you how to find out political decision making by the rural folk by using this method here.
Qualitative decision making by
Political decision making.
political.
Yes.
Oh, political
What
decision.
they vote for and
Yeah.
how do they take decisions on these things?
See, for political decisions, if any influential person is there in the group, the entire PRA system will be collapsed. because he will not allow to give answers which is not favorable to him or her. In Rampurat and Lohapur village, we were studying on Muslim community. So after, it was nice. After certain period of time, the Imam has come and he stood like this. Everybody was mum. Nobody was giving information. So if the Panchayat member, who is a political person, has come and stood and stand like this, go on. So it's a hidden script. You have to, it's a teamwork. I could not go in details, and that's why. PRA is a teamwork. You cannot do it alone. PRA is a teamwork. You have to take at least 3-4 persons to conduct one PRA. You and the figure, pictures is not at all nothing. The interview, which is background of this of that picture, is the exact thing. When he is putting this or discussion on the actual problem, what they are saying, you have to write down in your field notes. The picture is nothing. Picture is fun for them, and it's a apparent picture for you, but the discussion is actual you are going to take. So you need somebody who is taking the notes and somebody who is observing whether there is any hidden script or not. It may be that this kind of problem is superimposing the other problems by one political person. There, in that category, there may be one political person who has written that what drinking water problem. And when you are discussing, no, drinking water problem is not very serious in our village. Irrigation water problem is very serious. Then he just scripted like this. No, it's okay. So this is hidden script. You have to observe the hidden script also, because if you somebody giving the message that no, so no. So it's not the PRA. Then you have to understand that it is not successful. Just roll back the chart paper and give them thanks. Come out.
So actually, why I ask this question is because one of my students did 1 month at PRA, supported by NCRA, National Council of Rural Institutes, in one of the villages in Tamil Nadu. And what exactly happened is that as far as the resource mapping and social mapping, those are fine. We wanted to study the political communication and other things that was not very successful. And now he wants to extend that to an MPhil dissertation. So just wanted some suggestions how to go about it.
The questions will be very careful, questions will be there, and that should not be very direct. That the questions like this: do you think that the present panchayat is working well?
Questions means you need to say the interview questions, or just in a group like the FGD, focus group discussion, let them discuss and we observe.
Yes, like with this flip card, you put a question that what are the problems created by the panchayats? They will give the answer. Or what kind of developments done by this local panchayat? They will do. So from flip card, counting the flip cards, you will get how many of them are happy with the panchayats and how many of them are. There are questions, I just giving a very generalized example, but the question pattern should be when your student will facilitate the questions, then he has to give the keys that this type of questions, you can raise this type of answers.
Sir, isn't it as good as question again?
Yeah, this is totally unstructured. It should be, the objective should be in your mind. And what kind of facilitation you will do, that should be in your mind. But it should not be written anywhere. Okay. আমি taking your permission, আমি একটু ওনার জন্য বাংলায় বলার চেষ্টা করছি, তাই তো? Oh, you are from? Oh, Tamil. So that's it. You have to very cautious about your question, which is in your mind. Because your facilitator, your student will facilitate the entire moderator, will moderate the entire process. So he will facilitate the questions also. Why? Oh, the Panchayat is giving the old age pension, na? No, we are not getting old age pension. Write down. This is called facilitation. Give the keys to the people that they may forget that there are so many schemes of Panchayat. These are all political. These are all political. Somebody is not getting old age pension. He is from the opponent party, no? Maybe. Why you are not getting old age pension? Because I do not vote them. So this is the question. So then you can get the political perception of that village. Question will be put very cautiously.
There won't be any diagnostic presentation of
Yes, vein chart, Parota diagram, Roti diagram is there. Institutional diagram, those are calling. Go to 100 Methods of PRA by Leena Mukherjee. Okay? And read another book, Somesh Kumar's Participatory Communication. He was your state's IAS, Somesh Kumar.
100 Methods of PRA
By Leena Mukherjee, wife of Amitabh Mukherjee.
So the another one.
Another is Somesh Kumar, Participatory Communication.
Somesh Kumar and Lima
Somesh Kumar?
and
Somesh Kumar. Participatory Communication is the name of the
Lima Mukherjee.
Leena,
Lina.
L-E-E-N-A, Leena Mukherjee. And you can go for series of books by Robert Chambers, putting the first one, then the whose accountability count, and for development for whom. These are the books of Robert Chambers.
Sir, can we adopt different data collection methods together? Like if respondents are not found at one point of time, and you were simply after that you were giving a call to them that you asked what kind
No.
of information you have.
No. Respondents have to be organized by any means. You have to. This is a teamwork. You have to organize the respondents and a particular place, for a particular period, and you need help for others, for the panchayat people, for the members, but don't allow them in the process. You take the help, then you spend something. Give a tiffin packet to them, give tea, snacks, they will be organized. And if you have knowledge about that village, or your friend is there, then they will be
Sometimes
organized.
because of some unavoidable circumstances, all the respondents cannot be gathered together.
No, what do you mean by all the respondents?
Means target respondents.
No, it's a sample of target respondents. If you have 100 households, then the entire village is divided into hamlets, say 4 hamlets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then take representative of 5, 5, 5, 5. 20 to 25 people is good enough for giving all information of their village. Don't go beyond that. That will be a chaos. Because they will come with their children also. And you have to acknowledge them. You have to pacify them also by giving chocolates. So, and tea and snacks for 25 people. Maybe a tiffin packet for 25 people. All your friends will be there. And chart papers, dal, other things, raw materials will be here. I cannot go specifically to all the methods, but if you are interested, then you can call me in this number. If you have any problem, 9434221002, I will be always available for this.
Yeah, mail ID.
Yeah, 94.
Mail ID.
Huh? My name is Amit Hazra.
Sir, mail ID.
Mail ID. Same. Amit.hajra@gmail.com. If you take this methodology by any means, come to me, then
Sir,
I do.
will you use this method on rural and urban happiness?
Happiness. We have a method that dreams. So your in present status, whether you are happy on which aspects and you are not happy on which aspects. You have to take in flip cards, then take the positive solutions, flip cards in one side, and negative is in another chart. Then ask the question that if you are not happy for this particular point, why not? They will give answers. Series of answers may be there. That will be taken by flip card also. And then you put one dream map that out of these solutions, say, if this, now my house is one story. I'll be happy if the house will be two story. Then the two-storied house will be put elsewhere and ask him or her after how many years you can get this. Say 2018, he or she will give answer that I expect that 2022 I can get 1-2 story, but I can build 1-2 story. So for house happiness, see, he has to or she has to wait for 2022. Like this, with every aspect, you can make one dream map for him and give it to the village people or panchayat people that this is your target for 2022. To give happiness to everybody. I don't know how I can make you understand, but it needs practical orientation. PRA is not 1% theoretical. It's totally practical, practice based. So and it's called ground reality, and it should be done on ground. Chart paper comes next. So everybody will do it in ground. That roadside picture of the households, it's done on ground. I have to redraw this in the chart paper. So it should be on ground with color powders, with all, say, card and other materials. Then you have to take the picture after all discussion, finalized picture in your chart paper, and you draw it. This is a ground reality practical approach. So it is not theoretical. You cannot do this theoretically. You have to think on the objective. What is your objective? The objective is not that I give happiness to everybody. It should not be. And this objective cannot be fulfilled even by Narendra Modi. So you have to specify your objective. That objective is this. Objective is to find out child labors. So this very specific objective. Then you mark the household and ask them that from which household who else is working on tea stall or agriculture field or any shop, and then you put the bindi to that households. Then you can count that yes, out of 100 households, 25 households, the children are going to work. Then you ask another question, another question. So objective will be very specific, and you have to explore the objective with folded hand. That in this village we have come to study on child labor. Don't suppress, otherwise it be risky. Okay, thank you.
আমি দিয়ে দেবো সব একসঙ্গে সবার
পেয়ে যাচ্ছে, কোনো চিন্তা নেই। Yeah, that's a very good question. First group discussion is maybe structure and structure, and In focus group discussion, we are not using any diagram. Just taking answer. But if you extend this focus group discussion with PRA,
Yes, sir.
as PRA, that will be extraordinary. Fine.
Basically, even the ancestors are from Shanti. But সবাই আর কেউ নেই এখানে। একটা কথা এগুলো জয়েন করে
হ্যাঁ, জয়েন করে আমি কিন্তু
তাহলে দুদিকে সবাই দেখতে পাবে।
এগুলো একটু সরিয়ে নিয়ে আসতে হবে।
এটা জয়েন করে এদিকে প্রশ্নটা এই প্রশ্নটা
ঢুকতে পারে একটু অসুবিধা হবে।
হ্যাঁ,
বসার সময় বসে আপনার